Hey, happy Friday. So I was just creating some stories about something that I wanted to share, and then I realized that stories kind of suck for sharing. Oh, I thought my phone was gonna fall. Yes, it did. I think stories kind of suck for sharing like a longer message, and they kind of cut you off a lot. So I figured maybe I would just record a video. And let me just preface this with Sunny is probably going to interrupt me a couple times. But we'll just go with the flow and see where this takes us. So in my stories, I was sharing about how quarantine has actually served a important purpose in my life. And although a lot of things haven't really changed, meaning like I'm still working pretty much 5 days a week, working for Motivate Canada, taking Sunny for walks, like nothing has really changed. I'm not stuck in my house. I still have a sense of normalcy compared to a lot of other people. However, I have experienced times of frustration and anxiety and just a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty is a difficult feeling to have. Although I embrace it and I actually really love feeling uncertain, because to me, having a very set routine and something that is like super consistent and always the same actually scares me a lot more than not knowing. Although routine is good in some sense, I think a routine that doesn't feel right can be a little bit limiting. So uncertainty is a good thing. Don't be scared of feeling uncertain right now. Your future has endless potential, and being uncertain about what's next is actually a good thing, because that means that you have possibility. If you were so set on your future, you would be only going on one direction and you'd put your blinders on to so many other things that could be coming your way. But if you feel a little bit uncertain with still a sense of a dream or a direction, I think that's a great place to be. So in that sense, it's okay right now to be questioning, what am I doing with my life? I basically feel that like 9 times a week. It's okay to feel that way. I think our generation, especially, I'm 27, and I think people in this age range, in their 20-somethings, are right now probably feeling the brunt of this quarantine. We don't have our lives together. We might be working precarious part-time jobs. We don't have a big savings. We maybe live alone. We might be renting. We may be questioning, like, how is this going to affect my financial future? How is this going to impact my ability to buy a home? Or how is this going to impact, like, my career or my relationships? And I think that's really hard. And like our younger generations, especially kids, this is going to leave an imprint on them, but it doesn't really feel the same for them right now as it does for us. And then adults that may have their life together, seemingly, where they have a job, they have a career, they have a house, they kind of have things already in flow, they feel a little bit more set and secure. Whereas people like us, whatever age you define that as, might be feeling a lot different right now. And I wanted to talk about how this quarantine has been a blessing in disguise, where a lot of things that seemingly seem horrible and just really hard actually end up being something that is good. And I think as a psychology major and understanding that psychology has found its way back into my life so much, especially lately, that we have to see this as a way to reframe our thoughts and really start to think differently. So you can take this experience and reframe it as a way of growth and learning, and really sit down, and maybe not sit down, maybe go for a walk, maybe go for a bike ride, maybe do something, lay in your bed, meditate. You don't necessarily just have to sit there and think about how this quarantine can actually serve a purpose. What are you learning about your life that you don't want? For me, for example, I don't want to work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. I just don't. I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. Specifically having Sunny, working 8 hours, coming home, having to walk him, and then balance having friends, going out to eat, obviously not in quarantine, but doing many things is hard. Do I want to work from home 40 hours a week? Probably not. I find it very difficult even just to sit down and work for 5 hours. What do I want to do? I don't really know, but some of the things that I do want in my life are more flexibility I want to have time to do things that I love. I want to still make a good amount of money to feel comfortable, to be able to buy groceries, to be able to live comfortably and not live paycheck to paycheck. But I don't want to just settle for working a 9-to-5 job. And that's completely okay if that's something that you want, but I've learned it's not what I want. What I do want is I want more travel. I want more adventure, meaning I want to go for hikes and I want to be out in nature. I want more time to garden, and I want to spend more time with friends and family, and I want more time to cook. I want more time to train Sunny. I want to visit my family more and experience time with my grandparents and time with myself. Quarantine has forced a lot of us to be alone, and a lot of people struggle with being alone. But living alone by myself has taught me a valuable lesson in how important it is to sit with ourselves and be able to eat alone and cook alone and watch a movie alone and do so many things by ourselves and rely on ourselves and be independent. In reality, we are all codependent on one another. We need one another to survive and thrive, and community is essential to our well-being. However, having a sense of independence is also really important. You need to be able to depend on yourself in times when other people cannot be there for you. So I just wanted to come on here to kind of just explain how you can see quarantine. Although it is a very hard thing for the world to be experiencing, and I want to acknowledge that coronavirus and COVID-19 has claimed many, many lives. This is not a time to praise the fact that we are stuck in our homes and you have more time to clean your house and do it-yourself projects. We all would rather not be having this experience because people are dying and people's feel like their rights and freedoms are being taken away, and we are losing a lot of ourselves. But it's a time to really reevaluate and kind of see the beauty and a little sliver of positivity in this, because if we continue to live in fear and only view this situation as a negative, that's 2 months of your life that you're never going to get back because you just thought that it was a bad thing. So how can you view this in a way that serves a greater purpose for yourself, and how can you reevaluate how you see your lives and how you see your future? So what are you going to do? And I think the thing that we all struggle with is we all have tons of dreams. We have ideas and we talk about them, and we want to do this, and I want to have a van, and I want to travel, and I want to own my own business, and I want to open a cafe. Hint, that's what I want to do. But what we struggle with is not the dreaming. We struggle with the action. Because once we dream these big dreams, they scare the shit out of us. And then we think about how hard they're going to be, and not knowing how to take action, and not knowing how to do this, and how we need so much money to accomplish this dream. And then that fear is what debilitates us and prevents us from taking action. I'm still figuring it out. I don't really know how to accomplish some of the things that I want, but I've realized how important it is to try to start that process. And in physics, I'm going to butcher this, but obviously like movement and motion creates more motion. Obviously I don't even know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean. Like as soon as you take a step, it's a lot easier to take another step. But if you're stagnant and you stand there and you think too hard about taking that first step, or you think too hard about going for that run, or you think too hard about working out, you don't do it. But if you actually just go do it, it's a lot easier to be motivated to continue. So saying all of this, and if you've made it this far, you have to start taking action in some way. And you don't have to know the answers. I don't know how to write a book, but I feel like the first step is just writing, because that's what a book is, correct? I don't know how to get published, but you can't get published until you write something. So you have to break it down into a step, not necessarily a step-by-step guide, but a step where you just take the first step towards that goal. Just start writing pages, just start creating an outline. And I'm obviously just relating this to what I want to do, but you can relate it towards what you want to do. So think about it a little bit, think about your dreams, dream them up, have really big dreams, and then start taking action. How can you do little things that are going to bring you towards that greater sense of purpose? And I also want to mention that in the process of trying to take action and create that dream that you have, like this one, it's going to evolve. You're going to have an idea in the beginning, and then throughout the process of taking those actionable steps and meeting new people and creating connections and learning new things and opening your mind, that is going to change. Growth and action taking and accomplishment is not a linear path. It's not even like this, and it's not even like this. We don't go downhill in that sense. We don't go uphill in this sense. When you climb a mountain, you're not walking up a hill that is just of beautiful grass all the way up to get to the top. You're actually going to go through like bumps and like divots and like trip over roots and like have to climb a tree and like fall on your face. So you have to understand that all of those motions are part of the process, and then you might have to take a different path. And I love the use of analogies and kind of creating visualizations of how to get somewhere, because to me, I'm a visual person. So I want you to kind of view this as a way to just explore who you are, because ultimately in life, what are we doing? We're living, and the only way to live is to do things that you love. And throughout that process, you're going to find new things that you love. You're going to learn that you don't actually love what you thought, because maybe that perception of what you loved is what someone else wanted you to do, or that someone else put those thoughts into your mind. So ultimately, this message is encouraging you to, number one, see this quarantine as an opportunity to learn more about yourself, learn more about what you want and what you don't want. Second, feel inspired by those ideas, dream them up, and then take actionable steps in whatever way you see to actually start accomplishing those dreams. And then be okay if you pivot, if you think of new ideas, if your dreams change, because the path to not success, but a path towards happiness, a path towards a better, happy, healthy, and more fulfilling life is not linear. It's going to have those divots and curves and roots and rocks and bruises along the way. And that's the beauty of it. Because as we all know, when we read a book, if you read the ending first, you don't even read the whole chunk of the book. You ruin it. We don't need to know where we're going. You just need to read throughout those pages and discover the beauty of that story, rather than being so focused on the destination. Because if we only read books to get to the end, then that would be a really boring book. It's not a race to finish. It's an opportunity to explore what life has presented to us and how that we can create and write that story. So if you watch this all the way to the end, bless you. I hope you learned something, and I'm grateful that I could share these thoughts with you, and I look forward to what you plan to do, and let's see what happens, and just be positive. There's a silver lining in this, and heartache can lead to something great. So be happy, smile, and be okay with this uncertainty, because it's the only way you're going to grow. Have a good day.